Hi guys, today is a completion of Nallard's form. TikTok.
Storytime, I didn't know that I was dating my best friend's brother. So a little background information, I was 17 and a junior in high school. And I know you guys are probably thinking, how the fuck didn't you know that you were dating your best friend's brother? And we're gonna call my best friend Rima and we're gonna call her brother Alex. So I had met Alex whenever I was in 5th grade. We never hung out outside of school. We were more of just like friends in school. But I only met Rima last year. Also, Alex was a year older than us. Well, one of the art teachers who usually taught the senior class, she just gave birth to her baby, so they decided to mix both of our classes, aka the one that Alex was in. Well, my art teacher decided to pair us all into partners and have us do an art project. So I got paired up with Alex. Fast forward, we end up liking each other and we start dating. And usually whenever Rima and I hung out, we would always hang out over my house, because she said her family was annoying, and Alex and I would only hang out during school, like for part 2. Part 2 about how I didn't know that I was dating my best friend's brother. So like I said, we always hung out at my house because she never wanted to hang out at hers, but this weekend her whole family was supposed to be gone, so she wanted to throw a party. And she was like, OMG, you should definitely invite that guy that you like. Now listen, I know you guys think it's weird that she probably didn't even know that I had a boyfriend. Whenever I had talked to people that were best friends with her before, and yes, multiple best friends. This girl went through best friends like she goes through underwear. They had all said to not let her know who you like or who you're dating, because she would either try to get with them or she would get with them. And if she couldn't get with them, she would just send them nudes out of nowhere. So fast forward, I get to the party. She comes up to me. She's like, I'm so fucking annoyed. My brother's here. And then she was like, oh, did you bring the guy that you like? And I was like, no. And then I walk into the living room and I see my boyfriend. So I go over and I give him a hug and a kiss, and Rima starts screaming at me. After that, she told her brother that I bullied her so that way he would break up with me, and he did.
Story time! So this situation happened when me and my friend group had just started 7th grade. And one of my friends in the group had already gotten detention for not finishing her homework. And keep in mind that this was a very strict teacher, so no one liked him. We'll call him Mr. Brown. So when the class found out that Mr. Brown gave Sophie detention for not finishing her homework, everyone thought that it was really unfair. A couple weeks go by and Sophie hated the teacher. And I'm pretty sure he hated all of us too. So then this one day, me, Sophie, and the rest of the group decided that we were tired of going to Mr. Brown's class just to get yelled at, so we decided that we were going to skip his class for that day. At the end of the period, we were walking to our next classes when we ran into Mr. Brown. He called us and pulled us aside, and he asked us where we were and why we weren't in his class today. We told him that we had all gone to the office, but he didn't believe us, so he gave all of us detention except for Sophie. In front of all of us, he told her to meet up with him after school and that she was going to spend detention in his class while we had it in a different class across the school. So we were all confused as to why only Sophie had to go to his class, but we didn't say anything. After school, we went to detention. And the detention teacher was actually one of my dad's friends, so he didn't believe that we had done something bad, so he let us go. He told us to just stay at school until detention was over so Mr. Brown could check us out. We all went outside and sat on the tables when one of my friends say, hey, we should all go see what Sophie's doing in Mr. Brown's class. We all agreed and got up and started walking across the school to get to Mr. Brown's room. While we were walking, we started coming up with ideas as to why she had to be in a different class. We got to the hall where the class was and we had to be really quiet because we didn't want Mr. Brown to see us. We look in the class and Sophie wasn't there. That's when we heard footsteps coming our way, so we all hid. We see Sophie walking back from the restroom, goes into the classroom, and then she gives Mr. Brown a hug. At that point, we were all even more confused because we thought she hated him. That's when my friend took out her phone and started recording them, but then Mr. Brown and Sophie seen us, so we all had to run back to the detention room. When we got back, the teacher was still there, so we told him everything that we had just seen. After that, my friend pulled out her phone and showed him the video.
Storytime about how I broke up my best friend and his girlfriend. So it was our sophomore year in high school, and my best friend and I had known each other since we were like 8 years old. And I've always had a crush on him. Like anytime he would get a girlfriend, I would try and break them up. And it would work. Well, our freshman year of high school, he started dating this one girl. Well, when he started dating her, he distanced himself from me because she didn't like how much time we were spending together. So a few months go by and my birthday's coming up. And mind you, within these past few months, we only seen each other like twice. And he had me blocked on all social media. Well, our parents were really good friends because we lived in the same cul-de-sac. So my mom invited him and his parents to my birthday party. So at the end of my party, my friends left and him and his parents stayed. And my parents really didn't care if I drank alcohol, so we had like a whole bottle of vodka to ourselves. So we're in the basement and we're taking shots together. Well, I got him super drunk and he fell asleep. And while he was sleeping, I went on his phone and like for part 2.
Girls, tell me about a time where your quick thinking probably saved your life. I'll go first. 2 years ago, I was walking my dog at the park and a man approached me and asked to take a picture of her. And I said yes, because why not? It's a picture of a dog. So he starts taking a picture of my dog, and then I realized that he was like holding up her collar, and then it hit me. My address is on that collar. He's not taking a picture of my dog, he's taking a picture of my address. So I told him that I actually didn't feel comfortable with him having a picture of my dog, and I asked him to delete it. So he deletes it and then like starts walking away really fast. And I was like, "Excuse me, sir, no, could you also go into your deleted album and delete it from there?" And he goes, "I don't have a deleted album." And I was like, "You have an iPhone, everybody has a deleted album, could you please delete the picture?" And he was like, "Sorry, I don't have a deleted album," and like keeps walking away. And keep in mind, this is like 2 PM in a park, like there's other people around. So now I'm like chasing after him and I'm telling him, "Sir, I know you have the album, I will show you where the album is, can you please go onto your phone so that we can delete the picture?" Oh, part 2.
Story time about when my mom caught me doing it with my best friend.
I was 16 at the time, and there was this new boy that moved in across the street from us. He was super cute, and I noticed him right away. My parents were super strict. I wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend or even any guy friends, and I knew right away that I wanted to at least become this guy's friend because he was so cute. So one day I told my mom, "Hey, why don't we take cookies or something to welcome the new neighbors in town?" And my mom was like, "That's a great idea." So we end up going over and we meet them. They're really nice. And the cute boy comes downstairs and he tells his mom he's going to go to Bible study. Well, when we get home, I tell my mom, "Hey, you know what? Maybe I should join a Bible study group too." And my mom was like, "Great idea." She even told me to go ask him about it since he had mentioned it. One day he's mowing the lawn, so I decided to go talk to him and ask him about the Bible study group. He actually ended up taking me there that same day and we had a fun class. Over the next few weeks, we became really, really good friends. Best friends. We told each other everything. But there was always attraction between.
Yes, y'all read that right. Today I will be doing my ex-boyfriend's ex-girlfriend's nails. And I know what y'all are thinking, Mariah, you done lost your mind. But guys, this is Danny and I love her and we are cool. So I know y'all are wondering, like, how are they cool? Well, I went out with him in high school. He cheated on me. Things didn't end well. And she dated him like 5 years later. So it didn't even matter. But we do share a mutual friend. And I would always tell her, like, "Oh my God, I don't know how so-and-so is dating her because she is gorgeous." And she would tell the girl the same thing. "I don't know how so-and-so bagged Mariah because she is so pretty." And long story short, we all hung out one day and we just had so much fun. And every time we're together, we're always a vibe. Y'all, life don't be that deep sometimes. And we both realized he was a cornball. So there is nothing to ever beef about. But anyways, y'all, the last time we hung out, we got super lit. And she told me that she's starting her new business and that she needed me to do her nails for her photo shoot. And y'all, when I say we were lit, like we were lit. I had to text her the next day like, "Yo, were you serious about that appointment?" Like, y'all, I was drinking white Henny shots. Like, if you know me, I have not drinking Henny since like 2017. But anyways, Danny wanted to go with a square look. And y'all, if you are a Gel X tech, please always make sure to seal those cuticles. It just really gives it that seamless look. And then after, I always buff out the nail before I start the polish. So finally we were done with our prep. Look how crispy and clean they look. She fell in love with this set that I had posted for inspo on my story. It had swirls, it had some French, but she wanted a fortune teller type of vibe, so we did some purples instead. This is actually one of my favorite cat eye collections. She didn't want the cat eye effect, so we just left it glittery, but just look how pretty it looks with 2 coats. Can y'all believe this is an Amazon brand? So then I used the same color to draw on some French, and because I wanted it to be super pigmented, I did go over the French 2 times. And y'all, these nails were gonna go perfect for her photo shoot. Like, I cannot wait to share her business on my page. If you know me, I'm all about girls supporting girls, and I just love that us females are really getting to our bag. Like, times are really changing. Like, we even took over the rap industry. But anyways, look how cute this set came out with the chrome on top. Although chrome is super tedious to work with, I absolutely love it and it comes out looking so fire every time. So y'all already know I always file after my top coat just to give it that extra crispy look. And then we went in with my cuticle oils that I do make myself. And pro tip, y'all, if you want long healthy nails like Danny, use cuticle oil. I know a lot of y'all think that using cuticle oil will make your nails fall off or not last long, but it's actually the opposite way around. But y'all, just look how cute these came out. They were def giving fortune teller. I cannot wait to get all the photos from her shoot and share them on my Instagram. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. Make sure to follow me on Instagram so you can see her shoot.
Story time of how a client used to lie to me to get discounts on her nails. Where do I even begin?
This client had apparently found me through a close friend of hers who also happened to be one of my regular clients. Being the person that I am, I really love to start conversations and be in tune with my clients. In getting deeper into conversation, my client decided to tell me a little bit more about her life, or at least I thought it was her life. She told me many stories about how she ended up homeless and how she was sleeping on her friend's couch. And in those moments, I really did feel bad for her. And in feeling bad for her, here and there I would take a couple dollars off of her set. And she used to tell me that her way of paying me back was by wearing my nails in public and posting about me. She would return monthly to get her nails done again, but soon after I caught on to her story. When my regular client, who she had said to be close friends with, would come in to get her nails done, I would often ask about her friend's well-being and health if I hadn't seen her in a while. My regular would proceed to say that she was perfectly fine and in good health. She had then asked me why I was so curious about her. I was a little confused as to why my client was replying that way. She would reply in a way as to if having no idea about her friend. At this point, I was so confused. As the conversation between me and my regular began to unravel, I began to put two and two together, and I realized that her friend was lying to me about everything. Follow and like for part 2.
So this Monday after school, I decided to ask my mom if I could have a sleepover at my friend's house. For reasons I will not be calling her real name, I'll call her Tracy instead. So after hours of begging and begging, she finally let me go. It was on a Thursday night and everything was perfectly fine. We watched movies, we listened to music all day. But then when it was time for me and her to go to bed, she seemed really off. She started getting really nervous all of a sudden. So I was like, hey, what's wrong? And she was like, I don't feel comfortable sleeping at my house. So because she trusted me, she ended up telling me why. She then said, so I see this dark figure in my room every night and it kind of looks like my dad. I always hear him groaning and I could see that he's looking at me. She then told me that she thought she was probably just paranoid considering the fact that her dad came home late and as soon as he got home he wanted to just get some rest, so he would just go to bed or lay down. She then told me that this had been going on for months and she always tries to get up to go up to the figure, but it disappeared every time she turned around for a second or even blinked. So now I have insomnia, so I told her, hey, you know what, don't worry about it, you can go to bed, I'm gonna stay up and keep a lookout. The night rolled in really fast and I ended up falling asleep for a little bit and I woke up to hearing my friend crying in the corner. She then tells me that she can sense him, so she kept her eyes closed because I told her to.
Storytime on my weirdest personal experience as a nail tech. So when this happened to me, I believe I was almost a year, if not a year, into doing nails. This girl had requested long acrylic French tips. Colors were very specific, so I mixed acrylics to get the perfect shades for her set. I believe at this time I had a 10 to 15 minute grace period, so at her appointment date, she was over 25 minutes late. I sent her a paragraph saying that I wasn't going to be able to service her anymore because I had a client scheduled after her, so I would have gotten backed up. Literally a minute after that, she sent me a message saying she was outside. Guys, at this time, I did not know how to stand up for myself. Tell me why I walked into my living room and my mom opened the door for her, so she was standing there. And I don't even know what it was, but out of pity or out of embarrassment, I ended up taking her. And I was going to charge her $55 for acrylic French tips. But since she was over 30 minutes late, I charged her a $10 fee in compensation for my client after her. When it came time to pay, she was on the phone with her dad saying how much it was going to be. And he started telling her to ask me to lower the price. I explained to her why I was charging her the fee. So she said, okay. And when her dad arrived there, I don't know how or who let him in, but this man ended up inside of my room begging me to lower the price. This is so embarrassing, but I did end up removing the fee. I was so naive, but let me know what you guys think of this weird experience.
This is why you should always lock your front doors. A kid living with both of his parents decided to watch a movie for their family weekly movie night. He then gets up to use the restroom. As he is in the restroom, he sees all of the power in the house cuts off, and then he hears 2 loud thumps. He locks the bathroom door and hears heavy objects being dragged across the hallway. The kid, freaking out, runs out of the bathroom and runs into the restroom. Once he is inside the room, he locks the door. As he locks the door, he jumps in bed and acts like he's asleep and hopes that this person who is in the house will ignore a child sleeping. He closes his eyes and hears the door creak at the same time. He squints his eyes and sees a man with no eyes dragging the bodies of both of his parents. The man dragging his parents sits his mom's dead body in a chair facing him, and then sets the dad's body on the floor facing up. It was almost like whoever was in the house who killed them wanted him to see it. He then sees the man writing something on the wall and then climbs under his bed. He laid there for hours knowing that if he moved a muscle, he would end up just like his parents. He finally built up enough courage to read the wall, and the writing on the wall said, "I know you're awake."
Story time! Okay, so when I was in school one day, it was lunchtime. I was sitting at the table with all of my friends, but then I had to use the bathroom, and to leave the cafeteria, you have to ask one of the lunch monitors. Now, most of the time, I didn't even have to use the bathroom in the first place. I was just bored and trying to leave the cafeteria. So the lunch monitors let me go, and it was about a 2-minute walk from the cafeteria to the bathrooms in my school. My school had 2 floors, and there were 3 different stairwells on the 2nd floor where I was. So I started walking, and I was about halfway to the bathroom when all of a sudden, the code red alarm went off. This code meant that there was an intruder in the building. The lights in the hallway shut off, and I couldn't see anything but a faint light coming from the cafeteria. There were no windows or anything, so it was pitch black. That's when I ran to the cafeteria and I tried opening the doors, but they were locked. So then I tried running through the hallways to see if I could open one of the classroom doors, but since it was lunchtime, most of the teachers leave the school and lock their doors until they get back. So I started running in the dark and I ran into a set of lockers and I fell. And I could tell I was bleeding, but that didn't matter because I didn't know if the school intruder had come up the stairs yet. So then I saw an exit sign glowing in red. And I knew that it was right next to one of the stairwells, so I ran towards it and turned the corner. And I also knew that the bathrooms were down this hall. Story time! Okay, so this happened when I was around 12 or 11 years old. And this was also back when COVID began, so there was no school. So that meant that I got to stay up late all the time. So anyways, I used to be friends with this girl that my mom used to babysit all the time. We'll call her Apple. Now, Apple's grandma was a foster parent. And at the time, she was fostering this one girl, and we'll go ahead and call her Watermelon. So me, Apple, and Watermelon were friends. And this one night while I was at home staying up late, for some reason, I guess Apple and Watermelon just decided that they wanted to prank me. So Apple gave Watermelon my phone number and then she called me around 1 in the morning. And I didn't pick up because obviously it was an unknown number. So I just left it at that. So then at this point, I see that my phone is ringing again. But it's not Watermelon, it's Apple this time. So I pick up the phone and I'm like, yeah, what's up? And Apple was like, hey, me and Watermelon are 3 blocks away from your house. We're walking over there right now. And I told her, Apple, it's 1 in the morning. What are you and Watermelon doing walking to my place? And she was like, no, we're 3 blocks away. Like, we're going to be there soon. So then Apple hangs up the phone and a few more minutes pass by and I get another phone call. And it's Apple again. I pick up and instead of hearing her be like, oh, we're here, I hear her crying in the background.
Story time about the time a nail salon took advantage of my blindness. My sister and I got our nails done. We used to go all the time, and while the lady was doing my nails, she asked me how I knew how much money I had. At the time, I used cash, never again after this, but I told her that I folded my bills a certain way. I told her that I folded my 20s different than my 10s, different than my 5s, different than my 1s. Anything of her asking that question, I think it's a good question, and I just thought she was curious. I got done with my nails, she walked me towards the front, and my sister was actually just finishing up with hers, so it was perfect. There was another man at the front, and he asked me how I knew how much money I had. I told him the same thing. Before I left to go to the nail salon, I made sure exactly how much money I had. My sister helped me count it, helped me make sure that I folded the right bills, just so I knew how much I had, how much I would spend. I gave her the money. Positive that I gave her the right amount because it was just folded, it was folded perfectly, and I counted it out. She takes it, starts talking in a different language, and then tells me that I owe her $20 more. Or I didn't, and I told her the exact amount I gave her. And she's like, no, you didn't give me this amount, you gave me that amount. Like for part 2.
Story time about the time my supposed friends tried to pull up to fight me. So I had just got off of work and picked up my kids from daycare and I heard my doorbell ring. So of course I looked through the people and I see 3 of my friends, so I opened up the door. Soon as I opened the door, all I hear is, I heard you this and that. And I'm confused, so I'm like, hold up, what's going on? What you not about to do is come to my door with this bullshit after I done worked all day. So I closed my door and went to change my clothes. So when I was finished, I told my supposed friends, hold on, I gotta go pick my mama up from work because I was using her car. And what I wasn't about to do is have my mama wait while I beat a bitch up. Yup. So I left to go pick my mama up, and when she got in the car, I just ran into her about everything that was going on, and I just told her, no disrespect to you, but I'm not about to let nobody come to my house talking crazy to me and think they gonna get a pass. Like, one thing about me, I ain't no punk. You ain't about to play with me. So when we made it home, tell me why these bitches was still waiting outside my house. If y'all want to know what happened after this, let me know if y'all want me to post for it too.
So I told my friend to close her eyes because I could tell she was really scared. And I told her I would look instead. So then at this point, it was 2 in the morning and I see the figure standing in the room. I start yelling at it for it to leave, so I pulled out my phone and I started recording, and that's when I seen the figure run away. And let me tell you guys, it ran away really fast. We stayed in the room and morning finally comes in and I decided to tell my friend that we should pretend to be sick. I ended up texting my mom everything that had happened that night. She texted me back and she was like, I'm coming to pick you up right now. So then after that, we ended up going up to my friend's mom and I showed her the entire footage. And after I showed her the video, she called the cops cops immediately. So then at that point, me and my friend are really confused and we're just sitting there waiting for the police to show up. But my mom ended up showing up before the police could. And when she showed up, she just grabbed my arm and she's like, it's time to leave. I don't want you staying at this house anymore. And then literally as we're leaving, the cops ended up showing up to my friend's house. That's when I seen my friend's mom show the cops the video. And they ended up arresting my friend's dad literally right after that. So then supposedly the mom had seen this figure go into her daughter's room every single night, but she was very close to like spiritual things. So she just always figured that it was something spiritual coming in to check on her daughter, but she would always... Story time! Okay, so my cousin got married a few months ago to this girl. Now, she's 19 years old, and yes, she's young, but that's normal in our country and culture. So at the time I was 20 and she was 19, so we talked a lot since we were nearing age. One day when we were all hanging out, I noticed that she was trying to get some tea out of me. She came up behind me and she put her arms around my shoulders and she asked me, "Have you found a man for yourself yet?" And I said no. She then said, "Come on, tell me." So I said, "Fine. My parents asked if I want to get married to your brother." After I said that, she was shocked and got really excited. She then said, "So do you want to be with him?" And I said, "No, I don't really want him like that." After I said that, she got quiet and left. Fast forward a week or so, I found out that she had told her mom what I said, but with a twist. She had told her mom that I said that I do not accept her brother and that I think that he is ugly and childish. And I found out that she also said that I've apparently told people that she is never going to be able to have kids and much more that I don't know of. Of course, that had spread around her family, so one day her family decided to come to our house, and she even brought her brother with them, but I think that was only to somehow scare me. This had also spread around to her husband, who was my cousin, so he had talked to me about it, and I told him that she was lying and that I only told her that I don't want to marry her brother. And of course, my cousin thought that I was the one that was lying, and I couldn't believe that my cousin that I've known more than his wife didn't believe me. So after that, I decided to tell my parents and my aunt, and we talked about it, and the truth finally came through. But this girl decided that she was going to keep doing this. So to this day, she continues to say these types of things, even though me and her don't talk at all.
Story time of how I caught my teacher and my best friend doing the dirty. So everything was fine up until the middle of the year when she started acting really strange, and so did he. So at the time, I was 13 and she was 14. And I'm pretty sure my teacher was in his mid-20s or 30s. So basically, she's the type of girl who literally hates school and would do anything to get out of class. Then I noticed her getting early to class and not leaving until everybody else left. Then I started paying a little more attention, and he would always walk by her desk and slip her notes and candy and just weird stuff, and it was really strange to me. He also moved to her desk right next to his, which his was all the way in the back left corner of the classroom. He would also always make jokes with her, which I didn't really understand until I found out they were sleeping together. So on Friday, my mom messaged her parents asking if they could pick me up Monday because my parents were going out of town that weekend and I hated riding the bus. Well, I'm guessing she didn't know that I was going home with her Monday. So that Monday, I got into her mom's car and I asked her mom where she was. Her mom said that she was failing math and her math teacher offered to tutor her. This teacher was also brand new. I'm running out of time.
One day, my cousin made a Tinder, and we were having a family barbecue, so he came over. He was like, "Oh my god, Sam, like this really hot girl just like matched with me," and then he shows me. And then I see the profile, and it's literally pictures of Madison beer. But the name on the profile was like Kalani. I was like, bro, I don't know who you think you're fucking texting, but it's not Madison beer. You're texting someone's fucking auntie right now. Whole ass auntie. He's like, "Guess we're about to find out." I was like, no, what the no? He's like, "Yeah, I just gave her the Addy. She's about to pull up. Like, we're gonna meet. Like, it's all cool, Sam. Like, trust me. Trust me. Trust me," he said. Okay. I trusted him. So I see a car pull up, and he's like, "Oh my god, I think it's her." I was like, "Oh shit, what if I do meet Madison Beer?" The door freaking opens, and this old lady pops up. I look at my cousin, and I'm like, Go hug her! Go! You were so excited. It's Kalani, the one and only. Come on."
This was a banned episode of Peppa Pig. This episode was called Mr. Skinny Legs and it came out in 2004. And depending on where you live, it was taken off the air immediately. This episode was supposed to teach its young viewers that while spiders may look scary, they can't really hurt you. At the beginning, Peppa is afraid of the spider, but by the end of the episode, she befriends the spider and invites him as a guest to her tea party. Now, I think the moral of this story is pretty great, but apparently people in Australia did not agree. Australia is home to some of the most venomous spiders in the world, like the redback spider, whose bites are intensely painful and have historically been linked with deaths. So this episode was unfortunately banned in Australia because they did not want kids trying to befriend spiders.
Am I the asshole for not closing the door while showering even though my sister's boyfriend slept over? I live at home with my two sisters and my parents. My older sister has been dating her boyfriend for 3 months now. He has been sleeping over at our apartment ever since they started dating, but the frequency of the sleepovers have been increasing over the past few weeks. Our apartment isn't tiny, but it's small enough that we all share a bathroom. The room doesn't really have air conditioning, and it only has one window that doesn't let a draft through. When you shower, the room steams up a ton. So my whole life, we've just either left the door ajar or opened the door fully as we stepped out the shower and did the rest of our bathroom stuff. The very first time that my sister's boyfriend slept over, I was in the bathroom getting ready to go to bed, and I had the door closed but unlocked. I was taking off my boxer shorts when he walked into the bathroom. He immediately apologized, closed the door, and we never spoke about it again. Well, last week, I thought I was home alone, and I was taking a shower in the afternoon with the door ajar, as always. After I was done, I opened the bathroom door and continued my routine. I noticed that my sister had came home during my shower. When I was done, I walked into the kitchen to find my sister and her boyfriend having an argument. I didn't want to intrude, so I left. In the evening, I made dinner for our family, and while I was cooking, my other sister came and talked to me. Apparently, the argument between my older sister and her boyfriend was about me and my showering habits. He thinks that it's disgusting that I shower with the door open and feels uncomfortable with me using the bathroom in my own house. I asked my older sister if this was true, and she refused to talk to me.
End of video. No more.